Sportin Wales podcast.
Supported by DragonBet.
Your go-to for Welsh sports news and views.
Hello and welcome back to another episode on Sportin Wales podcast with myself, Alex Cuthbert. As always, a big thank you to our sponsors, DragonBet. Without them, we wouldn't be here. But today we got Ellis in the studio again. I think we have to get you on a retainer soon, don't we?
Yeah, last minute call up again when I...
You're not last minute, mate. I keep telling you.
Hey, I know where I stand.
And I'm pleased to announce that we have a guy, absolute legend, Ross Moriarty. How are you, mate?
Yeah, all good. Like I said earlier, I'm hiding in my car because my daughter's sleeping at the minute. So, yeah, I'm just going to sit in the car and do this podcast and probably stay in here for the rest of the day.
Well, as me and Alice know, we know that feeling, don't we? So, we appreciate your time. So tell us, what's French life like, mate? You bought straight into it? Are you French, half French?
Definitely the emotional side of it, I guess they appreciate. It's been a good experience. I've always wanted to play in France. I came here when we had a couple of games left in the top 14, which was amazing, but sadly Brive weren't really in a position to stay in the top 14 at that time. But, we've been in the Pro D2 now for the last season and a half, and it's been a big eye-opener. And to be honest with you, I just started enjoying rugby properly again because it's kind of stripped everything back and it's like restarting again. So, it's been great. And like I said, I've definitely had the full French experience. I got some funny stories to tell you in a bit.
Yeah, I bet. What's it been like with Courtney Lawes obviously joining? So obviously,
yeah. No,
they got some cash there, haven't they? If they're getting him up there.
Not anymore. Muzz is out of
Between him and Muzzer and him, there must be no budget left.
I'm definitely not one of them. I'm nowhere near Courtney, put it that way, because he is absolutely raking it in. Was it 2 days till payday? He's happy. Yeah,
but good for him.
No, it's been good. We got a lot of Southern Hemisphere boys here, a couple of boys from all over really. But yeah, to have Courtney in, obviously we were on the 2017 Lions tour together, so I knew him previously, which is nice. And he's come in and he's fitted in straight away, and he's enjoying it just as much as me. I think he's definitely taking it all in.
I bet. You ever thought about playing in France, though?
Oh, yeah.
Pro D2,
Yeah, I would have loved to. I think probably the time when those offers would have been available to me is just as I got injured. So I was playing in Wales before that, and then sort of I think you need to be in your prime really, then you're playing at the top level. And yeah, I sort of never really had that chance. But I would have loved it. I think you've probably done it right, Ross. You do your international stuff, the serious stuff, and I think when you go to France, speaking to a lot of players who've played out there, you have to accept that culturally it's very different out there. Some of the training is a little bit old school. I think some of the coaching, and I think as long as you embrace that, and it sounds like you're loving it. I think as long as you embrace that, I think that they're the boys who've enjoyed it the most, perhaps when you go there for the right reasons.
Yeah, definitely. No, when I was coming out of my contract at Gloucester, I had a couple of offers to come to the top 14 clubs, but obviously at that time, I wouldn't have been able to play for Wales, so I went to the Dragons.
Bankrupt them.
Welsh rugby's never been the same.
They haven't been the same since you've gone.
Pay cuts, everything left, but I've always wanted, like Alice said, I've always wanted to play in France, and now they've got a lot stricter and tighter on foreign players being in squad, so it's definitely made it a lot more difficult for players to make the move across, and obviously the competition has got a lot higher. But yeah, no, I had an opportunity to come to Brive, and I couldn't say no, even though I'd played against Brive when I was younger at Gloucester. I didn't actually realise I'd come here to play. But yeah, no, it's a nice town. It's in the mid south of France. We get really hot summers, not too wet in the winter, which is obviously nice considering what it's like back home all year round. Yeah. But it's been a good experience. We get 11,500 fans every match. It's definitely been a breath of fresh air coming abroad.
The whole village turn out to watch the game. It seems like any time I've been to play in France, like the whole village shuts down for the day, and everyone is within 100 yards of the stadium.
Isn't Brive the place where Ponty had that massive fight?
Yeah,
and they were getting chased around the bar.
It is. I'm surprised you can walk around with an accent like that, Ross, and not get in trouble.
No, they actually. I actually seen someone wearing a T-shirt. It was like I don't know how to say it. It was like a T-shirt with the date of the game, Battle of Brive.
Yeah.
What is that guy wearing? So I didn't really know about it, but I was looking at it and I was thinking Pontypridd versus Brive, 1990 something. I was like, what is this about? Googled it. Neil Jenkins, Chief,
Dale McIntosh.
Mad.
Yeah, well,
video.
I think most of them ended up in the cells for the night as well, didn't they? I think apparently the fight on the pitch was nothing compared to the aftermath in the night. So
I think that was the safest place, wasn't it? I think at the time.
I think so.
Yeah, well, one of the academy coaches is actually playing in the game.
Wow.
I do always wind up a little bit about that.
How French is it, mate? In terms of the coaching, how different is it over there compared to Gloucester, the Dragons? Obviously, you've been. Yeah, is it a bit clean off, or is it?
It's definitely very French, very emotional, very. I don't know how to explain it. It's definitely more passion and emotion over maybe strategy.
Suits you down to the ground, then, doesn't it?
Well, that's the thing. I've really enjoyed it, and I feel like it's what I needed. Like I said, the coaches, as long as you're giving 110% and you show that you care, which is not a problem for me because I care. It doesn't matter who I'm playing for. That's all they want. That's all the fans want. So it's easy for me to come in and sort of be accepted by the fans because I take, like I said, it doesn't matter what team I'm playing for. I take losing badly, like everyone does. But
you more than most.
Yeah, me maybe a bit more than others, but no, I definitely take it to heart. And I think if you come to France and you don't look like you're that bothered, you're gonna have a very short career. But luckily for me, that's not. It's definitely not an issue for me.
How's your French coming along? Do they do much of the coaching in French, or is it sort of a mixture of French and English?
That's the thing. We got so many British or Southern Hemisphere players. The coaches coached in England as well. And to be honest with you, pretty much all of the French boys speak English.
Yeah.
So some games, most of the pack will be, what they considered non-GIF. So they'd be foreign players. And it's like, well, you don't even need to speak French, which isn't, it's not great, but it's made things a lot easier for me coming over, going straight in and getting on with it. So it's good and bad.
Yeah, you got a little bit of the lingo down there, have you?
I can ask for what I need. Yeah. I can ask for what I want, and I understand. The majority of the bad words when we're getting told off in French, which is pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, no, it's good. It's easy enough, and like I said, if you make an effort, they kind of respect it. If they can't understand what you're saying, they'll end up speaking English too. So I am learning slowly, but it's not as easy as people may think.
Yeah. Since obviously you've been over, have you had any contact from the Gats or any of the coaches about coming back to playing for Wales? Or no? The last World Cup, I did get asked if I'd be open to come into the camp, but at that time, I'd only really just arrived at Brive. Obviously, I came in at the end of the top 14 season, Brive were in, and then I would have been away for a long time with the Welsh camp. Obviously, I may or may not have been involved in the actual squad to go to the World Cup, and I just thought I've only just really arrived at Brive, and I just wanted to show that I was fully committed to the team. Yeah.
So yeah, it was tough. It was a tough decision, but for me to come to France, I wanted to let them know that I was here to do a job for the club, and that was it at that time.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, they probably could have done with it the last couple of years, couldn't they? Someone that abrasive and aggressive. Obviously, talking of Wales and Six Nations, mate, you've obviously 54 caps. I didn't realise how many caps. 2015 was your first cap. You amassed a lot of caps early on, didn't you, in your career? 54. I didn't realise you were that high.
Yeah, well,
British Lion.
Some unfortunate injuries along the way, which I've got another one now again, but that comes with it. Yeah. But yeah, no, I started when I was young, 21, just turned 21 in the 2015 World Cup. Played a handful of games, and then ever since that time I was involved, and I was lucky enough to be involved in a really good team at that time.
You got any mixed, obviously, any experience in the Six Nations? Any highs and lows? Sort of points that really stick out? Because obviously Ellis would have been. Was he your captain on the one tour? Was that a tour or Six Nations?
No, I think the tour,
the Argentina tour.
Yeah, that's right. I had to wrestle you away from the. Was it Nico Sanchez? Is it?
I didn't want to bring that up, Ellis. All right, I didn't want to bring that up.
No, it's quite funny because when I turned up at Breve, I didn't realise Nick was playing at Breve.
No way, was he?
Wow. So I hadn't seen him since the day that happened, and it was after the game. I apologised to him, whatever. Sorry, but I said to him, mate,
why didn't
jump on my back? Literally, I was laying on the floor 5 meters away from a ruck, and he come and 2-footed me in the spine, and that was it. Then for the rest of the game, I was after him. But we had a really good laugh about it when I first turned up, and he was trying to choke me out in team huddles and stuff. But no, we got on absolutely fine, and that's the great thing about rugby. You can forget about things and move on.
Yeah, luckily the game was pretty much wrapped up by that point. There was only about 2 minutes to go, I think, wasn't there? Maybe less.
No, it was the 83rd minute.
Yeah, it was right at the end. But one of the things I remember from that game, it was in was it Santa Fe or was it San Juan? One of them. It was like an old football ground with like a moat around the outside, wasn't it? And like barbed wire fence. And
people getting on the pitch.
So there's people like climbing up the fence. The fence is like, swaying back and forth. There's flares going up in the air, wasn't it? And we're all walking off. We're all walking off thinking, oh my God, how are we going to get away from here?
That was a sketchy place for that.
Yeah, but yeah, class, man. That's the passion and emotion coming out, I guess, isn't it?
Well, obviously showed
that was just, I can't let this little. Yeah.
He had the better of your game, did he? And then
well, that's the thing. I think at that time, I didn't realise, I spoke to him obviously after it, and he said that they wanted the coach to leave at that time. I don't know who the coach was for them, but they weren't happy with the coach apparently, and they didn't really want to, put a good image for Argentina. And he said they were just trying to get us to fight them pretty much. And, he got what he wanted.
Fair play, viral clip of Moriarty headlock Sanchez and was like not tapping.
That was a long time ago. I've changed a bit since then.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, yeah, having kids and stuff that does stuff. I don't know. I know you didn't want to talk about it, but obviously Pivac, you had that relationship with Pivac. He sort of didn't really want you. I don't know whether he did. He obviously wanted you in the squad, but he wasn't picking you, was he?
Yeah, I was in and around the squad. Obviously, we were kind of going through that transition. Well, supposed to have been going through that transitions period then. Obviously, we were trying new players. So I don't know. Well, like I said earlier, I had quite a lot of injuries as well, which didn't help me. I wasn't really fit for long periods of time. So that probably didn't help my cause, really, keeping myself in that squad. But my last match was against Italy. Obviously, we all know what happened with that, and we lost. And that was the last time I played for Wales. And that after the end of that season, I think I came to France to play. So
was that your last game? Was it that Italy loss? Alan wins 150, was it? And was there? Gee, that didn't seem that long ago.
Yeah, I think that was That was my last campaign as well. I played the Ireland game. I played the Ireland game, the first game of that Six Nations, and you came on for me because you got injured in the autumn before, didn't you?
Yeah.
You played Ireland.
You came on for me, and then that was it. Then that was my last game for Wales as well. So it's.
Did you get the tap of death by the coffee machine?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's funny because I think I was like a week before that, it was like Bucky's favourite to be named as like captain for the Six Nations, and obviously didn't get named as captain.
Yeah.
Played the first game, and that was it. I was gone. And
checking for yourself here in the Buckies. I suddenly heard of that.
Kathy
I looked it up from on Dragon Bet.
No, it's the type of thing people are like, oh, this is great. People are talking about this, and I was just thinking, then it doesn't really mean anything, does it? But yeah, it's mad how quickly how quickly things can change in it for the better and for
that was a funny Six Nations, wasn't it?
Strange, yeah.
I remember that was my first one in the Wayne, and I was chatting to Ross about it, the coffee machine, and he was like, "What do you mean?" Well, it was like a no-go zone area, because if you went there, you knew you had a threat of a tap on the back from Wayne Peavat, wasn't it? So everyone would cluster in the corner together and stay away from the coffee, so no one wanted to make any coffee.
Yeah, you'd walk to the coffee machine, and if you could see one of the coaches coming, you'd just like detour straight to the toilets instead, wouldn't you?
It was the cleanest coffee machine you ever see, because everyone was so scared to get a tap of death, weren't they? And everyone did that last weekend. Changed the team. Right, let's go on to Six Nations, 25th anniversary, first game. Wales is obviously starting France v Wales. I know the team's just been announced, hasn't it? Ross, I'm not sure if you've had time to see it. You may have scroll on your phone. What do you think about it? Look.
Ben Thomas at 10.
Yeah, you were right. Yeah.
Told you.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty standard. I don't think there's not really any surprises that I can see. There's nothing other than the boys who've not made the squad initially that we've already spoke about. I don't see that there's many big shocks in selection at all.
Have you seen the French team? What do you think of that?
I haven't seen it yet. No, I haven't seen it. I imagine it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. I had a look. The French team, they go into Mac at 10. Obviously, Dupont at 9. So two absolute superstars starting 9 and 10 for France.
How big are those guys in France? Ross, like, give us obviously from our point of view, we already know how good they are, but like as rugby players in the UK, you're well known, aren't you? But in France, are they like absolute superstars, like another level? Yeah. No,
it'd be like saying professional, Premiership football players in the UK is what the French rugby players are like in France. That's the level of sort of publicity and attention they get. Like obviously the boys in Toulouse, it's only 2 hours away from Brive, so I go down there quite a bit, and if you see one of their boys walking around, they're getting absolutely hounded. The people of the cities they play for are absolutely mad for the rugby.
Like, wow. You obviously haven't played Toulouse, obviously, because you've been in...
Yeah, we did actually. So when I turned up at Brive, we had 5 games left of the top 14 season to try and stay in.
Yeah.
We actually played Toulouse our last match. We had to beat them.
No way.
Home or away?
Away.
Oh, all the best.
Yeah, so...
How did it go?
I think it was 50 points. Maybe 50 points, but like it was tough for the Brive team. There was a lot of boys who were moving on to new clubs and who kind of accepted the fact that Brive were going to get relegated.
Yeah.
Boys' heads were elsewhere, and going to Toulouse for any team in the league is like, you got no chance here.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Toulouse play some of the international teams, just to see how
they'd win.
Yeah, just to see how they get on. Like, because some of the stuff they've been playing recently in the Champions Cup is just incredible. It's like just on a different level, isn't it? They're just absolutely playing a different game to some of the other teams they're playing.
Yeah,
it's like Jack Willis. Obviously, he's not even involved in England because he can't get selected, but he is probably one of he is up there, the best top 3 back rows in the Northern Hemisphere at the minute, and he still can't play for England. So, they got him, and he's fresh. Obviously, he doesn't have to go away on international camps, and he's always ready for the Toulouse games.
What's been the chat then around, obviously, France playing Wales first up? Are they expecting, like, do they just think they're going to win? Are they obviously competition? They are favourites, I think.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be up there for favourites to win the competition again. The majority of their squad play for La Rochelle with Toulouse and Bordeaux, who are absolutely killing it in the European Championship. And the level they play at in the top 14, they're all going into the tournament absolutely firing. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough one for Wales, I think, instead of France on Friday.
What do you think of the Wales team obviously selecting you? That's probably, for me, I think that's probably Wales' best team that we could select.
Yeah, I think so. Toby's obviously not fit, is he?
Well, yeah, other than Toby, yeah.
Yeah, well, if he was fit, he'd play, wouldn't he? Like, I mean,
yeah.
any squad he's in, if he's fit, he plays. But he's obviously not there. But look, James Botham's been good for Wales. Obviously, Wayno's pretty decent in that 8 shirt as well, isn't he? But it's yeah. I don't know. I think you just look at the experience and the quality throughout the French team. It's just probably I think it's going to be a real tough ask for Wales. I hope I'm wrong. Traditionally, France, if they're going to slip up, it's been the first game, hasn't it? It's been they can be a little bit slow to start, but in Paris, I think, like you said, the atmosphere and the whole sort of occasion, the energy that surrounds the game, I think. Yeah, like what a place to play for some of the Welsh boys, particularly the youngsters. But yeah, I think it's going to be a tough one.
Obviously, scrum-wise, they've gone with Henry Thomas, who obviously played in France quite a bit. I think their scrum would be a bit better than they showed, obviously, in the autumn. So they're going to have a different play. For me, it's depending on how they play, isn't it? Obviously, they're probably going to look to move the ball. They have to, really. They haven't got the biggest, most physical team, have they?
Yeah, look, Wales' scrum has been okay, other than against South Africa, which, South Africa, they Razi comes out and he says he wants the two best packs in the world to be playing for South Africa. So I think other than that, the scrum has been decent, but France are just so big. They not only are they good scrummagers, they are massive, and just that extra bit of weight comes on, and it can be difficult to deal with. Evan Lloyd, obviously, I think it's his first start. Is it his first start for Wales, or is so exciting for him. Big pressure. He's again another one who could be a real star of the future, but he's just got a big responsibility around the set piece to make sure that's flowing well for Wales on Friday.
Yeah, Ross, what do you think of obviously Adam Jones being brought back in? Bit of a younger coach.
I don't personally know Adam. Obviously I was too young to play with him, and I haven't really played. Well, I never played against him, but yeah, no, he seems obviously. Well, his record for Wales speaks for itself for his playing career, and he seems to have been doing a good job at Harlequins, and hopefully his experience and his knowledge is passed through to the boys who are involved in the Welsh teams, and it's only going to make them better. So, I don't know how much his time with them is going to change the scrum for this Friday, but hopefully in the future it's going to pay off.
Yeah. Also, obviously, Andy McCann has been back in the squad in the environment. Like, what do you reckon he'd be doing? Do you reckon grab a lot of the younger boys and sort of?
Yeah, I think he'll just be a sounding board. I think for boys who are nervous or worried or dealing with things off the field. I think he'll just be a sounding board for them, help them, prepare or get themselves mentally in the best state they can possibly be for the game. I think with Bom, he sort of bridges the gap age-wise a little bit. I think if you look at Wales's coaching staff, it's probably
they're old.
Well, they're a lot older than the other coaching groups. You look at like Borthwick, Farrell, Galtier. You got.
Well, Bom said that Adam Jones said he played with Dav's dad.
Well, yeah, I know,
but he's not even that old.
Yeah, but again, you look at the age demographic between Bom and then you got Howlers and Gats, and even Jenks there's a big age difference where I think it just helps. I think the boys to resonate with Bom a little bit. Just on again, I know there is still a decent age gap between them, but I think it just bridges that a little bit.
Yeah, obviously Alex King is out. Rob Howley's promoted to attack coach, but I think we know that he's probably been the attack coach anyway, hasn't he? So what do you want to see from Wales, Ross, obviously against France? Like what is going to be the best way to just attack them and try and get a result?
It's hard to put your finger on one thing. It's hard to put your finger on one thing to sort of pick apart the French team, because I feel like any way they play, whether it's going to be a tight physical game or an expansive game, they're best at both. Like there's no one way they play rugby, so I don't really know how you'd go into that game and sort of say, right, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to be able to win. Because everything they do at the minute, no matter if it's off the cuff or set piece, it's just turn into gold. So obviously everyone goes into a game like this and says, right, we're going to have to try and contain them, maybe put the kick pressure on them a bit more and contest in the air, which is what Wales were really good at for a long time. But I think maybe they went away from a little bit. But obviously Josh Adams, Liam Williams coming back in to the starting team, I think they could definitely go to the air a bit more and kick to compete and, try and force errors and put France on the back foot and try and make them run out from deep. I can't really see much else in a weakness in that French team to obviously try and break it down.
Yeah, discipline is usually one, isn't it? The amount of cards. They usually have quite a lot of cards, don't they? But I think since Sean Edwards has gone in there, they're a different team now, aren't they, with him defensively as well?
Yeah, they seem to have... They seem to take a little bit more pride in their defence, don't they? Obviously, we've all played in teams that Sean are coached by Sean, and he just has that ability to make you... I suppose, he has that fear factor, doesn't he? That you want to defend for him, and not only is it the fear factor, is that it's like he's, because everyone always sees this persona of him on the training ground and screaming and shouting at people, but he's a top bloke as well, isn't he? So you want to defend for him. You don't want to let him down. Yeah, you don't want to let him down, and I think he's very basic, and he'll say himself he'd rather have 2 or 3 principles of defence, and we're just going to do them as well as we possibly can. But yeah, he's been, well, he seems to have helped, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's done right. He used to love you, Ross, didn't he?
Wow, that's the thing. Obviously, my dad used to be a defence coach and coach for a long time, and he used to say, what does Sean do, which is so, different or amazing compared to other people you've been coached by? And I said, it's just simple, basic stuff, but really take pride in it, and everything you do within that little, couple of points. If you do that well, it's all going to work out. And if you go away from that, you get picked out easily, and it's not a place you want to be.
No, he was good, wasn't he? I remember going in the change room and he'd obviously put a sheet of paper, wouldn't he, inside your little locker, and it'd just be 3 points. And then you'd just be like, right, I've got to do these 3 well, otherwise I'm on the board Monday morning saying, what are you doing here? You're fucking crap.
And he was brutal with you, boy, like the wingers.
Oh my God.
Because I remember him in a team meeting saying, right, anyone in this room wants to play on the left wing on the weekend, put your hand up.
That was George's side, not mine.
He said the last 3 players who've played in the left wing are not doing a good enough job for me defensively. So anyone, I don't care what position you are, put your hand up. If you want to play on the left wing this weekend, you can. And everyone's looking around is he was serious. Is he serious? But obviously we were such a line speed, such a high pressure defence that it leaves you wingers with, particularly depending on how good luckily you were outside Foxy most of the time, who was pretty good in that 13 shirt, but it left you with a lot of decisions to make, and then 2, a lot of scrambling back to do if they got over the top, because that's what he always said, didn't he? He said, look, we can't defend everything. If they get outside us, we just scramble and we try and catch them on the way back. But yeah, I used to enjoy those meetings.
We used to have it in units all the time. He'd be like, does anyone want to play on the fucking wing? And we'd be like, well, we're here, but it was nuts. Obviously, rest of the tournament, boys, obviously, you got France as current slight favourites. So on Dragon Bet, you can see they're 13-8 for a title, 7-2 for Grand Slam. So I think 25 years, I think there's been 13 Grand Slams and 12 championships. So yeah, I thought it was less than that. So fair play. England obviously going to Dublin. I don't know if you've watched too much of the Premiership or anything, Ross, but how do you think England's chances against Ireland? Obviously in Dublin, it's tough, isn't it?
I think it's, obviously in Ireland, everyone plays, the majority of the squad play at Leinster, and, they're the same as some of the French teams. They're blowing everyone out the water in the URC and doing well in the Champions Cup. And, I never won in Dublin. It's a very tough place to go and win because I feel like you're always playing against a different Irish mentality. But England, they were a bit ropey in the autumn. It seemed like they were still trying to figure out their sort of best starting 15. And I was looking at the team actually before this, and they've gone with both Currys, 6 and 7. So 2 Jacqueline threats. So I guess they're going to be trying to slow their ball down because we all know from playing against Leinster, when they get on top and they get going, you can't control their attack at all. So I think it's going to be a tough test for England to go there and win, especially with how in form the majority of the Irish boys are in.
What do you think of that, Al? The 2 Currys back row and then Ben Earl, like that's not most line-out options are a little bit limited there, aren't they?
Yeah, but
Cunningham himself is on the bench, isn't he? Which he's gone pretty well.
Yeah, I really like Cunningham South. I think he's been awesome since since he sort of burst on the scene a little bit last year.
In the autumn, he really stood out, didn't
he? He's been awesome for Quins as well. There's a couple of times when you don't really know who he is and you watch one of the games for Quins and he's just putting there's like a couple of hits and you're like, who is that? Because you can feel it through the screen. I don't mind the back row. If they're going to pick a back row of both Currys and Ben Earl, you have to play a certain style of rugby that suits that. It has to be quick. You're trying to move them around. You're trying to get isolated breakdowns for them to be able to get in and turn over. Where you might be lacking a little bit of size. I mean, Tom Curry's not doesn't shirk the physicality, does he? Well, none of them do. They don't shirk the physicality side of it.
Yeah, they're tough, aren't they?
I think Ireland are going to win the tournament. I think they play France in the Aviva, which I think is a big advantage, and obviously they play England in the Aviva.
I think that's the 4th game, which for me makes a big difference because I think France by then will be absolutely hissing. Yeah,
still the Aviva is such a tough place to go. What I will say is Ireland probably for the first time faltered a little bit in the autumn. I think they've been the last couple of years they've been comfortably the best team in the Six Nations, and well they go into they're trying to win it for the 3rd time. I think it's the first team ever
no one's ever done that.
Do it so. That is tough. They're obviously still trying to replace Johnny Sexton. Whether it's Crowley, whether it's Prendergast who's going to do that, he's obviously pretty big shoes to fill. But yeah, I still think Ireland have got enough. I've got enough to win the tournament. And like I said, playing England and playing France in Ireland, who I think personally are the 2 biggest threats to Ireland. I think.
So you're Ireland.
I
Ross?
think so, yeah.
Who are you?
I think that's going to be the deciding match between France and Ireland in Dublin. But for me, I'd go with France still. I feel like after the World Cup and then obviously Ireland, even though they are doing great with their provinces, and I do think maybe that they overdone it a little bit. Obviously, they had a big summer tour where they really went to South Africa and tried to put a big statement down. Obviously, then I think it showed in the autumn where they may have been a bit fatigued and a bit beaten up. So I think it's hard to go between France and Ireland. But Ellis said, and I said, it is a very tough place to go and win, is the Aviva. But if there's a team which is going to do it, it's going to be France. Yeah, so I'll go with France.
Yeah, I'm with Ross. I think France, their team, their squad. Yeah. I know Pinot's not playing this weekend, but he'll be back. And they got a few other injuries as well, haven't they? But I just think Dupont and Tomat, they're just another level, aren't they? They are. I think they're going to be probably the best combination ever.
Yeah, I agree. I've seen lots of people, saying unless Dupont wins a World Cup, he can't be considered. I think he's the best player I've ever seen.
Yeah. Easily, everything he does.
Yeah, he is. Like you said, I think he's easily the best player in the world.
Did you play that Toulouse game away?
Yeah, I've played him a couple of times, mate. And
every time
we were playing, like Thomas Williams was playing, and Thomas is up there with one of the best nines in the Six Nations. And Dupont he was like we fairly matched Toulouse for the majority, and I think Dupont did like 5 things and they scored 5 tries. It was just. everything he does. I mean, not, like obviously we see his line breaks, his handoffs, how physical he is, but even like his box kicking, his exits off both feet, they're going into touch in the opposition half. It's just technically like superb as a scrum half. But then there's 5 or 6 times in every game where I'm watching him thinking, there's no one else in the world who could do that. So I
think he's really good at picking his moment.
Yeah,
it's the moments that he wins, isn't it?
Yeah, like some of the boys even breathe. Like obviously everyone aspires as a 9 to be like Dupont, but they don't understand that it doesn't just happen for a full 80 minutes. It's going to be like 1 or 2, maybe max 3 occasions in a match where he goes, right, I understand I can do something now, and he knows when to take that opportunity, and it comes off because he takes his time and really waits for the right moment. And I think that's where he's above other 9s. He doesn't try it every other phase. He knows when to make the right decisions at the right time, and that's what cuts him above the others for me.
He's one player, you could play him in any position, even hooker probably.
Yeah.
He's that good, isn't he? I think he was saying something before the Six Nations. He wants to be amazing at every area on a rugby field. He's doing not just at box kicking and passing and being a 9, but Jacqueline,
Mauling,
carrying, Mauling, scrummaging a lot.
He's doing a pretty good job at that already, I think, isn't he?
Yeah. He's pretty good. Right, the other game, Scotland v Italy, quickly. Scotland every year think they're going to win the Six Nations. Is it this year?
No.
No.
Absolutely not. I think Tuapolota is it Tuapolota? Yeah.
Yeah, he's big loss, isn't he? Yeah, I just think with Scotland, they always come in. I'll probably get some stick. I'll definitely get some stick for this. They always come in off the autumn, and they've always had 1 or 2 performances. So like, I think they beat South Africa a couple of years ago. They've beaten Australia. They pushed New Zealand really close over the last couple of years, and they always come in like hyped into the Six Nations. Yeah. Like everyone's like, could this be it for Scotland? And then they come 5th, or they come 4th. They just don't seem to. They just don't seem to carry that. I don't. Yeah, they just don't. They don't live up to the hype. And I think Tuipolotu is one of the. Again, it's a shame for the tournament because he's one of the best players and one of the best 12s, particularly in the tournament. And to lose him, I think is big for. It's bad for the tournament, but it's really bad for Scotland. I don't see them competing with. Although they have done decently against Ireland, haven't they, over the years? But I just don't see them competing.
No,
he just gives them so much good front football to play off. Like there's not, you can't just replace someone with that physicality like for like. He, like you said, I don't think it's going to go too well for him.
No, it
is a shame, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, he's a joy to watch. It's impressive to watch because Ross is right. He gives them that go forward, but he's got the ability to play, which leaves when you're playing against when you're attacking against another backline, it leaves it's not a coincidence that Hugh Jones ends up making so many line breaks when because he's making defenders outside bite into him or making them make poor reads. And like I said, it's a difficult. He's a difficult player to replace.
Yeah, it's tough because what he does, it lets Finn Russell then do exactly what he wants to do. When Finn Russell's in control, he is the best 10, isn't he? I think for me in Europe. So could be same all for Scotland. I think they'll have a big win in them, but they just lack that consistency, don't they? That's for me anyway.
Yeah.
Go on, Ross.
No, I was going to say, like Ellis is saying, they have maybe 1 or 2 good games against a top team in the autumn, and then it's just not consistent, is it? It's just it kind of falls apart when it comes to the crunch time.
Where are they playing Italy?
They're home.
Are they?
I think, yeah.
Because if that was in Italy, I could see him losing to Italy and then coming back and beating Ireland or France. Do you know what I mean? That's the type of thing they do, isn't it? But it's just.
Well, we have Italy. Wales have got Italy's second game. So that wouldn't be good.
I know, but you look at the Italy team at the moment. Like Benetton beat La Rochelle the other day. Like,
that was absolutely mental.
Yeah, like you're looking through their team and they've got they've got the quality players.
Yeah.
You look previous years. You look back. You look through the Italian team. You had Parise, maybe Bergamasco, and they would be like 7 or 8 players who you didn't really know who they were. Whereas now they're all you got
They're good players, mate.
Capuzzo,
Minicello, Brex, the two centres of unreal.
Amazing. You got Capuzzo was carving it for Toulouse as well. So it's Italy are, not to win the tournament, but I think they're going to cause some upset at some point.
I think Wales will beat them.
I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough. Like Alice said, the majority of the team play for Treviso and they beat La Rochelle, which is considered one of the top teams in Europe. They'll be full of confidence going into that match. And I do think that they've done it right with having the bulk of their squad playing that one team. It's definitely helped their development as a country. So yeah, I think there could be some shocks from Italy this tournament.
Yeah, let's hope so, because they were a pretty exciting team in certain games, weren't they, last year? And hopefully they don't turn up against Wales.
No, you always back Wales, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. I got to back with them.
I don't know. It'll be tough.
Always on Ellis.
No, I think Wales will beat Italy, but I think Italy will upset someone along the way.
Right. Let's hope it's not Wales. Right. Loads of Six Nations specials on Dragon Bet right now, including odds on each of the weekend's matches. So make sure you check them out. For today, Ross, thanks very much for joining, mate. Hope the injury goes well and enjoy, obviously, parenting for the rest of the day.
Nice one, boys. I'm going to go for a drive now.
Just going to go for a
still
drive.
Sleeping.
Yeah, thanks, lads. Take me 10 minutes to get around the town.
Ellis, thank you as ever, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Cheers.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks for tuning in to Sportin Wales podcast. Make sure you subscribe and follow us on all socials for all things Sportin Wales.
Sportin Wales podcast.
Supported by Dragon Bet.
Your go-to for Welsh sports news and views.